YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today we are watching Female Gooners Must Be Stopped. A lot is said about the male gooners, but not a lot is said about female gooners, I feel like. Today, I think I will be a little bit more justified on my slander of BookTok girlies, but yeah. If you want to join us and watch these reactions live, you should come over to Twitch, and I also stream games on YouTube if you want to see that as well. And if you're watching this on the month of October 2025, we're doing a whole month of special horror streams, playing horror games and doing cool stuff, so you should come over and see that as well. So yeah, let's go.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Hi.
What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now.
Oh,
with
gosh.
Millions of sales and almost 20,000 five-star reviews. This book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or BookTok.
I told you, it's always BookTok, bro. I am an innocent book enjoyer that just wanted to get some recommendations for different types of fantasy novels, and then I went on BookTok and I was like, oh, I think they're gonna have some cool recommendations for me, right? It was all porn. Can we have normal fantasy, please? We beg you. Every time someone mentions BookTok, there's no such thing as normal fantasy. BookTok is full of smut,
as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask?
I'm scared.
Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm.
What the f is that? Oh my god, no!
A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts
Get a job?
OnlyFans.
Oh, okay.
She wouldn't degrade herself like that.
Oh.
She gets a job jerking off monsters.
What?
That's right, the Morning Glory.
What?
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
Chat, I'm scared. I don't like where this is going. Oh my god. Oh, I'm scared.
Book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all
What?
of the book.
Get your eyeballs on this because it is so good.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic.
God.
An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners.
Oh my... Okay, look, I don't want to say this. I think this might be a little bit mean, but this lady looks like she could be my high school English teacher. Imagine you're a high schooler, and then you're scrolling through TikTok, and you just see your English teacher making a video about how she likes to read smut. I'm not gonna make it to the end of this video, boys. I'm gonna die first.
No.
Oh my god! I have a friend from my D&D group that really likes reading as well. She's kind of like a BookTok girly. She does read some good books. She doesn't only read smut, okay? She got one of our male friends from the D&D group to read this. If a girl ever tells you to read A Court of Thorns and I don't know how to pronounce it. Just know that they are recommending to you fairy porn. And I'm not making that term up. They call it fairy porn. Okay?
Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels.
Smut can be not dark romance. Dark romance, I feel like, is a whole other can of worms, you know? It's a whole other cursed f***ing rabbit hole.
Otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of an addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it.
I feel like in modern internet, a lot of people are not ashamed anymore. Maybe it's just the circles of the internet that I'm into. Maybe it's just because I'm a VTuber. I feel like people don't have a lot of shame. Gooners, both male and female, are no longer ashamed of their ways.
Browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores.
Oh gosh.
They proudly pose in front of their smut collections.
Oh my
They discuss
god.
their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions.
What in the motherfucking hell is this? Brother, what am I looking? No.
Choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless Wendigos.
Oh my
now,
god.
I know what you are thinking.
Oh
Shoe, isn't
my
this
god.
the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes.
Damn.
Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one. You see,
At least she's
women
self-aware.
are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried
They
to
are.
figure us out. Our mood is affected
That's
by
pointless.
the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face,
Sometimes more.
I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated.
Those
We
what?
are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about
God.
strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay?
Bro, the funniest thing is that she is not exaggerating. The people that are like addicted to these freaking books, they think that they're so different. It's okay to be a gooner, you know? Who am I to judge you? I have nothing to do with what you do in your private life. But if you're gonna be a gooner, don't judge the other gooners, okay? If you spend every waking moment reading smut, and then whenever somebody recommends a book to you, the first thing you ask is there spice in it? Then you can't say shit.
You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance convention that ended in disaster.
Oh my
Let's
God,
take a
there was
break
actually
from
a
all this
convention?
depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important. Trust me, they are.
Silliness
you
is
should be keeping up with
important.
politics and the news when you can. I know it can be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. Let's quickly give a shout out to our sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political
Smooth
bias
segue,
that helps
yes,
you
exactly.
understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political aisle and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Gavin Newsom is signing a bill to give 800,000 Uber and Lyft drivers in California the right to unionize. Pretty cool. Rare Newsom W. 12 news sources covered this, 7 were left-wing and 0 were right-wing, because the right is covering a far more important topic. Harvard hires drag performer Lahore Vagistan.
That is probably the craziest drag name I've ever seen.
As a visiting professor. 21 news sources covered this, 20 were right-wing, 1 was left-wing.
Bro.
A country divided.
Who comes up with these? The drags themselves. Like, I've seen a lot of very funny drag names, but that one is probably the craziest one.
Truly. Ground News also makes it very easy to compare headlines, so you can see how political bias completely reframes a story. For example, talking about how Trump has been posting a bunch of those sombrero memes, and the New York Post says, White House official behind Trump's hilarious meme war on Dems revealed. And then a left-wing outlet covers the same story, like, as the shutdown continues, a checked-out Trump posts a childish
Jesus, those
meme.
are very
Wildly different vibes going on here.
Holy
I've been using
shit.
Ground News since 2021. It is one of my favorite apps. Like, it is my go-to, like, when I wake up. I, like, check Twitter, and then I check Ground News, like, immediately. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview.
Interesting.
Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan,
Damn.
which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. And it's only $5 a month.
That's like the biggest discount I've ever seen a YouTuber sponsor have.
Basically the price of a coffee nowadays. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
Ethical react, baby.
Right. So
Yes.
let's get back to the
Checking Twitter after waking up is insane. What the fuck? It is though. Like, I check YouTube and I already get rage baited sometimes. Like, checking Twitter as soon as you wake up is like the easiest way to make yourself depressed as soon as the day starts, you know?
BookTok is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop. spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated.
I was so excited at first when I first learned about BookTok because it was around the time that I started like reading more often as a hobby. And when I found out what it was actually like, I was so sad because all I wanted was people to tell me good sci-fi or fantasy novels or classic books that I could read. And instead I just got smut.
How well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? It means spice level is very important to BookTokers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading?
How can you be ranking books based on how spicy they are and you still not accepting that you are a gooner? Some people's lack of self-awareness is genuinely baffling to me.
Spice. The spiciest book going viral on BookTok lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M.
How is that not a meme?
Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god! She's just like me.
She's such a relatable millennial.
On the verge of moving into her parents' basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it.
Stop! No.
Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef.
My god.
Oh god. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
How does somebody write that? How do you write something that funny without intending to be funny?
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity.
No,
in this
girl.
text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of the Marxist revolution.
Oh my god! Okay. I'm pretty sure that was a joke.
This is every fucking bread tube video to me, dude.
God,
This is
my
every
god.
Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie. The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished.
Americans, which one is that? I don't know your constitution. I only know that you have a freedom of speech one and a gun one. I don't know the rest. Which one is the 19th? Women vote. Oh, come on.
The story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males.
How is this so funny? Bro, if this was a comedy book, it would be literally the funniest shit ever.
And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote,
Oh my god. Okay. She's pulling out the glasses.
the seam of his sack.
The what? What does that mean? What does that even mean? I don't understand. Bruh, not even Matata found this book entertaining. I mean, it sounds funny as fuck. I don't think I would read it because I think the majority of it wouldn't be very funny to me. It would more so be disturbing. Oh, I'm not gonna read the explanation out loud, but thank you for explaining it to me.
And the whole time I'm thinking like, okay, he probably has like a human head, right? He probably like looks something like this, like, you know,
Ew,
subdued with,
what the fuck
horns.
is
Then
that?
I see the official artwork. That's a cow.
If you're gonna do a book about a buff Minotaur, you gotta make him bigger. You gotta give him more muscles. That Minotaur is not big enough. You have to make him more monstrous. He doesn't look like a monster. Well, besides the being a cow part.
Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets.
This would make a perfect comedy book. I'm gonna cry. Nucker's a Victorian child. I don't even feel disturbed by this because it's so ridiculous. I can't take it seriously. It's just so fun. My hooves are gonna... I'm gonna cry.
I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she described
Oh
kissing
my
him.
God.
And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else
Oh my-
described
oh
in
no.
this book.
Oh
She's
no.
like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing
Okay, no, this one is too much for me. This one is not funny anymore. What?
shit and you're just like,
Ew.
that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also
Oh my God.
f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass.
Oh my God. I'm gonna cry.
Uncensored version of this video and all my videos.
There's
Patreon.
more!
Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video.
You paid to be tortured?
You can hear me talking about s***ing and f***ing and f***ing a cow's asshole. Is
No,
that what you freaks
no,
want?
no,
Anyway,
please,
I like
no,
how in this
no,
fantasy
no.
world, student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with
Bro.
minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans.
I thought the books were supposed to be escapist. I thought it was supposed to distract you from the pains of real life.
Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that
Okay.
means, like, you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced. This is a divorced
To
cow
another cow?
with a cow ex-wife. The lore
Oh my God, what is... There's no way that the author was sober.
is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you. When the bill
Oh my
arrived,
God.
she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not
Oh
thought
my
about it until
God.
the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared
the
that
hell
night,
is that
several weeks of
name?
her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have. Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her. The heat of his hand dropping to her knee would have. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers.
His career of... Never mind.
I know you can say you don't want to see me again. You can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. She was
Oh
she
my
was
God.
a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation.
How do you take this seriously? How is that hot to people? If this is the kind of thing that you're trying to goon to, how are you even able to goon to that? That is like the most goofy shit I've ever seen.
At every woman, there are two wolves. Or two bulls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will
Or a
fold like
cow.
a lawn chair and instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
People actually do find the cow saying that it was... If it was at least a human, I feel like it would be a little less goofy, but the fact that it's a cow? Can you imagine the half-naked cow sitting on the restaurant with its little hooves on the table? And it slams its little hooves on the table and it's like, no, I'm spoiling you. End of story. Moo.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what
Ew,
I
why'd you
thought
say
of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book
Oh,
has a
jeez.
4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads
that's not that
with
high.
nearly 60,000 ratings.
60,000
Let's just
ratings.
read some
Crazy.
random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time.
Bro.
Sweet and creamy. The
Okay, it's not funny anymore.
spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just going to be porn.
It is.
The plot is pretty good.
Oh god.
The plot?
The plot. Guys, you don't get it. I watch hentai for the plot, okay? I watch it for the plot. It's not about the porn, okay? I swear.
Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles. Like,
Stop!
sure you do. This book could kill a Victorian child. 5 stars. I'll never
1
look at
star.
a jug of milk the same.
Ew! I wasn't even thinking about that, but now I'm going to. I had ice cream before I'm sad.
Lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star, not a helpful guide. This book failed
Oh
to
my
teach
God.
me how to milk a cow, and now my family has no food for the winter.
Look at their profile picture. Bro, this is one of you guys. This is 100% one of you motherfuckers. You bought this book and you left this review.
1 star, accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation.
Oh my
Gave this to my
God.
mom as a joke gift for Christmas.
Why would you ever give your mother something like that? You don't even give your friends something like this. This is the kind of shit that you buy for yourself and you hide whenever anybody comes to your house. You gave that to your mom?
You what? Lesai. Why can't human males be more like...
You can just instantly tell that this is a millennial. First, the picture. Second, Lasai.
this? Tall, rich, and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot tall creature
Cow.
from Greek mythology.
You
with
have to be a
13-inch
cow.
I never want to
What
hear from
the
another
what?
person about how they read a
Look, I don't know exactly how much 13 inches is, but are you trying to find petroleum?
100 books in a year. If this is the kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald.
Whenever there's like some sort of book social media, like I have also seen book Twitter already. These people that read these books, they will be bragging all the time about, oh, I read 100 books this year. I'm so smart. I read so much. I'm a reader. I'm cool and intellectual. And this is the kind of stuff that they read.
Man detected. This isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back.
No! Hold on! Women is a lot of people. You're putting a lot of people in that category! Calm down! Hold on!
To Barely Legal Babysitter 5 or whatever the f you watch that is so morally
What?
superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like.
I am feeling so many emotions as she reads this.
Enjoy it before the Supreme Court
Oh.
takes this right away
Oh,
next.
what?
If this is what freedom looks like,
What?
I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie. Maybe we should have less of it.
Freedom!
All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn, we are going to make 2020 look like a picnic.
Oh my
okay?
god.
Bull cock matters. Oh God. Edit that out. Editor, edit that out. Women are gonna be picking up Animal Farm now, like, where's the horse cock? Some of
No,
you people
stop.
owe a certain
Oh my
streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has
I mean, maybe it's not that they were lying. Maybe they just genuinely think that that is a 5-star.
given me a few interesting
gosh.
recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally
Yes.
summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon.
This could be a wholesome, like, novel. Like, for example, there's a lot of book covers that, you know, the book is that type of book. Some of them, they have these really cute, cartoony art styles. A lot of people are very bad at monitoring what their kids watch. I feel like a lot of parents will buy their kids very inappropriate books because they have cute looking covers that you don't expect to have that content.
I summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved.
Like this one, if I saw this at a bookstore, I would just assume that it's a romance. It doesn't give me necessarily corn vibes, you know?
Gentling the beast.
This one does. This one absolutely does.
Cupcakes for my orc and
What in the mother? Why is Shrek here? This one is crazy!
mane of my existence.
Dude. Oh my god.
The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator.
No. That person is from Florida. A
Oh,
mountain
so
bear!
This is why they chose the bear.
I mean, this is just being a furry, but with extra steps. This is like a furry in denial. I find it really funny. They will put the monsters in like human scenarios where it's like, oh, he's a billionaire and whatever, but they still make them dress like a. Why is he shirtless? Why is he dressed like he's from the Middle Ages while she's wearing a girl boss fucking purple suit? Like, oh my god.
Billionaire orc, moth manager, wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern.
Nobody let Bao see this. Nobody let Bao see this. Oh my god!
Pounded by produce.
This one is not okay, man. What do you mean a veggie latte? Is it a vegetable person?
Are these the books the
Oh my god.
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm.
He's never gonna read anything again. You are killing his love for literature. He's not gonna want to open a book after that.
It's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
After a lot of time and looking for the perfect woman and finally getting yourself a wife, you are talking to your wife, trying to understand her hobbies, and she tells you this.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washer machine again.
Imagine, dude!
Talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok.
I'm a woman, so I get to make fun of it, right?
Best-selling romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes.
If not their primary purposes is a huge self-report, by the way.
In recent months, BookTok has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these
excuse me, I'm a woman clutching my pearls?
Popular female-centered books. Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God.
What does she mean by that? What? What exactly? What does that mean?
Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch
73? Jesus, Grandpa?
There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire.
I was gawking at the part of the cow, but...
Scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine." But his astonishment in itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine?
Definitely not cows.
Grow up. Imagine a group of men.
I think when I grow up, when I become a hag, I think I'm gonna start liking cows. That's the message that I got from this.
Around, drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys are.
Okay, that is also a really crazy thing. I don't know if I'm too much of a Puritan, but I cannot possibly imagine. Like, even if I consume this type of content, which I don't, but I know that you guys won't believe me, I would not have the balls to discuss it with my friends. I have too much shame for that, you know? And I'm glad that I have that kind of shame, honestly.
Essentially do it. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to pretend that a story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny? It's funny.
It is funny. It is funny as fuck.
Misogynist.
It is so funny.
To act like you are so different and above the other Gooners is just, it's silly. I'm sorry,
You're
but
all
you are
Gooners.
no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12.
They said the thing. Oh god, it makes me die inside when they say that.
You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind.
Oh my god!
I'm not impressed.
Why is it
The scenes
spinning?
these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there's much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered knotting, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides.
I'm gonna cry. I genuinely have tears in my eyes right now. I'm not exaggerating.
Oh, Oh, honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know what knotting is. What are these women reading, bro?
That is the craziest thing to me, is that they will say that kind of shit, but they have no self-awareness to, like, actually hear themselves speaking. Like, how do you say that? And you don't feel any tiny little bit of shame or like, what the fuck am I consuming?
What happened to that, like, stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer boy? What happened to that?
Honestly, I feel like it's kind of the same thing that happens to guys, which is why porn addiction is so bad, is that you start with stuff that is normal, but then the stuff that is normal doesn't satisfy you anymore. And then you get more and more extreme, more and more weird, more and more disturbing. That is why it's a problem. That is why everybody says that it's bad for your health.
Used to make fun of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone. Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls.
I mean, I feel like demons and werewolves have been around for a very long time. Just look at Twilight, you know?
50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to what the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a f***ing dog. You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book, except that book is about f***ing a half man, half bull. Let me let you in on a little secret.
Wouldn't expect
the quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average.
Okay, once again, that is a lot of people! That is a lot of people!
Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least 100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with role play. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow.
I hope not, once again.
I hope not.
Yeah.
all know there's a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well, you get Sinners and Stardust.
Oh god. What in the... Ooh, Pyramid Head! What did they do to my boy Pyramid Head? I know that people thirst for him, but come on. Don't do this to me. Don't, please. Please. Look, I know... Oh god, okay, I paused it a bad. I know that people thirst for Pyramid Head, but there's some stuff that, although I'm aware of, I like to pretend that I'm not. It's really nice to pretend that you don't know about stuff so that you can preserve your mental health.
Eyes wide shut is going on here. Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for romantasy authors and fans alike. So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right? Maybe. If you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you. Alright y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without—
This happens, like, all the time, where people think that just because somebody's doing something like that is entertaining in a more spicy setting. There's a lot of horror stories about girls getting you know, weird stuff happening to them in cons when they're wearing a cosplay. But for some reason, these fucking mind-broken gooner women, they can't understand that the concept also applies to guys that are cosplaying dudes.
Or to put your hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his dick. Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do you think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and you know that shit is fiction? and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away. And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him.
These are multiple crimes,
which showed on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves.
True.
Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of roast beef.
Why did she have to say that?
Years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically, it was a campaign to bring attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade.
Did they not have like any sort of security in this fucking event? Like, was there nobody to like watch if people were being creeps? Because I feel like if you're doing any sort of like sussy event, like any sort of 18+ event, you have to have like a bunch of security. You already have to do that in regular cons, but I feel like this type of con even more, you know?
And attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this.
I can't believe it, honestly.
Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect. Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this BookTok convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, "My words did nothing."
Please tell me that these people got reported to the police.
Book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this.
Actually,
there
though,
more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
I think it affects them the same way. You know, you spend too much time consuming this kind of content, you're gonna turn crazy. You can't just like consume this extreme of stuff and turn out normal.
Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for Evie magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral.
I was like, okay, I should probably keep my thoughts to myself, because it would be not a good time to say that that person is attractive, but she kind of is.
Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal.
I didn't know the lore behind it, but this is the thing that I said about how it like it keeps getting like more and more extreme the more addicted you are to that shit.
If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that.
Jesus.
It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest. Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image despite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper.
I still think it counts though, because like comic books count as that, you know?
I'm, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up.
I'm sorry, it's really funny to hear the word gooners in such a serious... I was paying so much attention. I was so immersed in the professional scientific language, I got low-key jump scared by the word gooners.
But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase, is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed.
I mean, if you think about it, that first book, you know.
I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy.
It's
Basically,
not.
they're cooked. Like, Women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff. It's a pipeline.
It's not even that they're cooked, they are cooking themselves.
Right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You know, you start watching Shoe0nHead owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025 you're hailing Hitler, right? You know, the alt-right pipeline. And this one's like, you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and...
So, you guys remember that hear me out trend? I found it, like, kind of funny how the level of hear me outs were very different from women and men. Men would do, like, they would say, oh, I like monsters, and then it would just be, like, a regular woman, except she was green. And then a woman would just post a picture of an octopus.
10-foot-tall dommy mommy vampire with giant titties.
Yeah, it's just a woman, but big.
Women are like, I want to the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question. Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons.
Let's see, science.
One, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now.
It used to be like vampires though, which are just humans with big teeth. I don't think that that's the same as kissing a literal cow. I mean, unless you count Greek mythology, because I do remember Zeus turning into like birds and shit, and then... you know?
3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc. Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc, etc. Because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat woman of color, modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women / women of color. In monster alien romance, though,
you can just pretend that there's like a guy that is like that but is a human being. Just because you are unhappy with the sort of men that you've met doesn't mean you have to fantasize about a cow that literally has hooves.
My size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it. I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus the unusual dick.
Is that why people like those, you know that brand with the funny shaped toys?
Fun shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen.
What
unique
the fuck?
Genitalia. I don't know what I was expecting,
it
honestly.
Just sounds like they're
women's smut,
bored.
especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is...
but when it's a demon...
You see, the monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild...
I mean, I guess I get it, but at the same time, I don't understand how you start to fantasize about... It's just an animal at that point. Like, a lot of these are just animals.
Dominant man. They want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire.
That's the people that are obsessed with men-hetero girls. Not me, though. I'm perfectly fine and normal, and I will not give you mental health issues. I will fix all your mental health issues. Isn't that right, chat? I'm so cool.
Danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me. But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl.
That's basically the exact, I'm not even joking. I've seen like human dark romance, and it's literally the same exact thing. They're just changing the species. They make the exact same thing with human men, and they just change the species.
In a wheelchair, where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you want to rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman.
What has Nuka been No, I didn't say that I read it. I said that I saw it. I feel like this instinct that people, like, that a lot of guys have, like, I want to protect her and stuff. I feel like that's one of the reasons why, like, girl failures are so popular nowadays, you know? I don't know if you guys know, you probably did, but have you seen how so many guys are like into girl failure girls, like girls that have like really bad social anxiety or that are mentally ill, or like they find those things cute.
Save her. This is like basically the flip of that, right? This is just the distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are seeing this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you.
I feel like that gets really obvious with that, I'm gonna spoil you.
They're basically both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor. Whether
Except
the
now
dragon
the
be
dragon
a wheelchair
is being saved.
or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon, and the knight sits in the corner and watches or something.
In the cup chair.
Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for minotaur p***ness.
Our?
Yeah, that's the,
Our hunger?
That's the moral of this video.
Oh god, not the English teacher again.
So what do you guys think? What is
Was that outfit? hey, chill, pal!
your theory?
Friend?
Why is the monster romance genre so popular with women in particular? And who is your
Is she trying to seduce the ladies watching the video?
weirdest? Hear me out. Be honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny, okay? You all know mine already.
That one is Why is that fish on the screen?
It's not that he's a fish, okay? He has an energy, okay? He has a vibe.
No, don't justify it.
You know what, never mind.
Don't
And I will see
justify
you guys
it.
again really soon with a new video.
Epic video. That was funny. That was very entertaining.